Okay. So, Gita, the specialty of Gita, as you must have seen by now, is one specialty is Karma Yoga, which we have been delving into. And with every day, with every chapter, we are getting deeper and deeper into Karma Yoga. It's adding new meaning to Karma Yoga. So let's understand, what is the vision, what is Gita's vision of Karma Yoga? Just to make sure that we stay grounded because we missed 2 weeks. So its basic vision is that you can achieve your liberation through work, not just work alone, but through work and knowledge, through knowledgeable work. And this is not different, to some extent. It's basically saying you can say you can achieve your salvation through work. And this is not different from what we have learned at that level. What we've learned, at least I'm talking about myself, what I've grown up with is that work is very important. That you should have your goals, correct? And you need to work towards your goals. And a person who has ambition, who is hardworking, who's achieving success, reaching his goals, is respected, rightfully so. That person is respected. A person who is lazy, who doesn't work, is said he's wasting his time. He's wasting his life because, you know, he's not achieving anything. He's not working, he's not learning. So that much, I think Gita has no problems with that. Totally agrees with that statement, with that. But the way that we work is how we work depends on what we want. What is our goal? So in so far in this world, our goal has been very like material, discrete goal. We want, success defined as big house, wealth, influence, friends. We can, define it in many different ways. And some people pay more emphasis on one little thing versus another. So there are variations, but that is generally our sense of success. Our goal is not to get out of samsara. Our goal is to be successful in samsara, live in this world and be more successful in this world. And, competition, be competitive, all these things. And at least I personally, I don't know about you guys, but I have been influenced very much by the spirit of capitalism. And the capitalism spirit says that your job, your duty, your job is to maximize your profit. And remember, if you maximize your profit, then there is an invisible hand of Adam Smith. I don't know whether you remember these theories, economic theories. The invisible hand of the market will maximize the welfare for the market. If you do what is best for you, the world will be best for itself. This is the basic philosophy of capitalism. It's a basic philosophy which undergirds America and undergirds now actually not just America, but even India. Basically, they say your job is to go out and do well for yourself, your company. And that way you're contributing. You're contributing not just through your taxes, you're contributing because the world will become better. And that fits in very nicely with our objectives too, because our objectives are to do well for myself. And we are doing it ethically. We don't do anything wrong. We don't do anything illegal. We are not. We are being good citizens, and that's the way to live. And there's nothing wrong in it. And Gita also says there's nothing wrong in it. That's a great way to live. But it depends on your objective. If your objective is to have more power, more wealth, more influence in this world, and live like that, that's great. But if your objective is contentment, deep contentment, your objective is moksha, your objective is to be happy, to attain a level of, real deep peace within yourself. If that is your objective, then this is not a good way. Then this way doesn't take you there. In fact, Gita it goes further. It has a way of using terms to drive the point home. So it says that a person who lives like this, ethically looking out for himself and his, and his family and his near and dear ones, thinking that I'm going to work hard, make profit for myself, the other person will make profit for himself, that's competitive, this kind of a person. Gita calls him a miser. Okay. And there's a reason why it calls this person a miser. Like, who is a miser? A miser is a person who stores his wealth, who doesn't use his wealth. He hoards his wealth. So if I have money, I will hoard it. I'll be afraid to spend it. Not just spend it, I will not even invest it. I will not make use of that money. I'll just keep it there. I'll hoard it. That's a miser. And what Gita says is that what we have is this human birth. We have immense sampatti, immense wealth, immense capability. And a person who is only looking out for himself and thinking that that is the way to live is a miser because that person is hoarding that wealth. He's not using his sampatti. If your ambition is just to be rich and all that, then you're a miser. You're not ambitious enough. You need to have more higher ambition, which can use all of your capabilities as a person, which have been given to you by God. That means you think you're achieving happiness, but you should strive higher. You can be even happier. And this person who is doing so well in this world and all that, ethical, which I described, Gita is not saying that that is wrong. Gita is saying that that kind of a person is qualified for the next step. That's a necessary qualification. In other words, that's like doing your schooling and now you can be okay for college. Because if you are not like that, if you haven't achieved that success in the world, if you haven't gone through and done what we guys have all been trying to do, then you will not have the wisdom to appreciate the next step. You won't have the qualifications. You will not realize that there is a limitation to what you can do through just looking after and going after yourself. By doing things for your own benefit, for your own profit, you keep doing it, there's a limitation. You can't, there's a certain amount of happiness you'll get out of it, but not beyond. So Gita's vision of Karam Yoga is Karam is the most important thing. Hard work is extremely important. Um, you know, Devote yourself to your work, but increase your goal from a goal of just profit to a goal of achieving real true happiness, which you can have, which you have the capability to have, and which you deserve to have. So increase your goal. And to do that, once you increase your goal, that means through knowledge. Because you now have knowledge, you know that there's a limitation to what these material things of the world can get you. Once you know that you have that knowledge, you have that understanding, then your goal will become higher. And then Gita gives you a mechanism, automatically. Once your goal is higher, you'll find a way. But Gita also gives you a way. It says, maybe the way is to start looking at the world around you differently. Start thinking about how you are, all these actions that you're doing, how they are contributing to the cycle of the world. Think about how they are contributing to Ishwar, because that will start cleaning your mind up. These desires which get fed by your actions, those desires will start slowly, they will start receding, and your mind will become less tainted by desires. Meaning, it's like less, not tainted is a not a good word, but it will be more objective. You'll be able to make you'll be able to see things properly. You'll be able to make the right judgments because you're not biased by the pull of your desires. The desires, they pull you out, and then so you buddhi bhrasht nahi hogi. Desires can do buddhi bhrasht to us. So that's the overall vision of the Gita for Garam Yoga.
Nitu,
Yeah,
a naive question.
yeah.
When you're 22 years old and you're coming out of school, can you follow these principles? And I guess the answer is yes. But I'm just visualizing what would that look like?
But I think, yeah, maybe the answer is yes for some people. But I think Gita or Vedanta acknowledges that the answer is not yes for most people.
Uh,
So it says that there are stages in life. So that is why it says that at an early stage, there's a brahmacharya stage and then there is the grihastha stage. So the goals are appropriately defined for each stage. Of course, this is a little too prescriptive,
yeah.
too structured. I mean, people don't fall into boxes like this. But it understands and it says actually that the main thing I think which we need to remember is that you have to if you act with integrity, you'll be fine.
Mhm.
In other words, if you're not meaning acting with integrity says that your actions correspond to your knowledge. So a young person doesn't have the knowledge through
Yeah.
experience that material success can only take me so far. That for that the young person needs experience. He needs material success. He needs material success so that he can see the limitation of material success. Otherwise, it is just a bookish understanding because his desire is to be very successful, and if somebody is forcing to him to understand, no, 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 that doesn't lead to success. He says, okay, since you're telling me, I believe you, but he doesn't really believe it
Mhm.
till you actually live through it and see the limitations. Still, when I was young, I used to think a rich person is a very happy man.
Mhm.
I don't think so anymore because I've seen a lot of rich people.
Yeah.
First of all, I have achieved some riches
Mhm.
compared to my
Mhm.
goals.
Yeah.
So that is a good thing. And I'm not happier because of it. I mean, there are many changes because of it, but it's not necessarily happier because of it. And second, I've seen a lot more of rich people
Mhm.
closely. So I've lived my life. So now if someone tells me a rich person is not necessarily a happy person, I don't even think much about it. I completely agree. It's like it's not a question of there is no argument here,
Yeah. No, wealth
right?
has nothing to do with your
Yeah.
personality, really.
So, but you can't at 22. I didn't think so.
Yeah.
I thought the only thing to do was to become rich. What else is there in life? You have to become rich. I went to my MBA school and I thought at that time I thought getting the right job is all that I need to be rich, is to be happy. And then promotion is all that I need to be happy, right? And then, whatever. Started on my own business, then that is all I need to be happy. So these at some stage we learn. It doesn't mean that everybody learns at the same stage, at the same age, with the same level of success, but we learn. So the advice to if I was a young person, my advice to me of 22 years old would be don't get confused. Follow your heart. If your heart tells you that you need riches to be happy, I personally would advise me to go for it. Don't like be ethical, of course, but don't get confused by Vedanta. Don't in fact, actually, that is another beautiful thing in chapter three. I'll tell you about it. Don't get confused by all these because I was like always conflicted. There's no reason to be conflicted. So if what's in your mind is then what in my mind was that riches will make me happy. If I do that, I will fail faster. In other words, I would have achieved more earlier and learned my lessons earlier, as opposed to being confused and, neither being here nor being there. But so the most important thing is integrity. Is, whatever you truly believe is your answer at that moment in life. Whatever you truly believe is the thing, you do that without having a situation where when your mind is one thing and what you're doing is another thing. That should not happen. Like in your mind, you want to be rich, you want to get all the successes, but upar say you're talking about Gita. You're talking about, मेरे को तो कुछ नहीं चाहिए. मैं तो I'm past all this. That is not good for you because that's not making you move forward. That's just you'll just stay in that place. So till you that's what I mean.
Yeah.
So if you have that integrity, I think that is all which is required, truly.
So then you can do both, right? I mean, if you,
Well, what the thing is, what do you want?
What do you want?
yeah.
What do
Exactly.
you truly want? Do you truly think that your goal right now is Antakarna Shuddhi? Or do you truly, or you're not sure about that?
So
You think your goal is something else?
inner peace, right? Like
Yeah, yeah,
contentment. So, but can't you get contentment doing your work
yeah,
and also doing it with integrity and that way finding
yes,
or whatever?
yeah.
I
I
mean,
think
being
that's what you believe, right? That's what you think.
satisfied internally is what matters, guys.
What?
I mean, being satisfied internally, being
Yes, is what matters.
happy in your own skin, that's what is most important, right?
Yes, absolutely. That is it. Being
So,
happy in your own skin is what is another definition of moksha.
hmm.
Yeah.
So, so you can do both. You can do bhakti and you can continue doing what you are doing with,
Yes, yes. Yeah, you can. I mean, and you are. So if as long as there is no conflict within you,
yeah.
that I'm doing one thing, but I should be doing something else. As
Hmm.
long as there's no conflict, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
That's all. I mean, that's the best we can do,
Mm.
right? Now, Gita may prescribe other things. May say that you need, really speaking, this is what reality is. It may say think about Ishwar and do everything as a service to Ishwar, right? It may say that. It might say do everything, um, like remember Ishwar at every stage in your life with every action, and it'll say that in chapter 3. But that's what Gita is saying. That's fine. But what Gita is really saying is that do what you think is right at this moment,
Hmm.
right? Because you can't force yourself to have an understanding just because Gita is telling you. That understanding has to come from your life experience.
Hmm.
That's the most important thing.
Hmm.
So that is why a lot of the things that Gita say now make sense. Many still don't, but say 20-30% of them make sense today. 20 years ago, 0% probably made sense. That's the change is not Gita is the same from
Hmm.
many years.
Hmm.
It's our understanding which evolves.
Yeah.
And as our understanding evolves, we see more sense in it. And the point is, our understanding is what it is. Our life experience is what it is. So we can't force ourselves to follow Gita if it doesn't speak to us,
Hmm.
right? So that is why I feel, in my experience, and also Swamiji says this, and Gita says this, that just the only thing is be true to yourself.
Hmm.
That's the most important lesson of the Gita. And obviously now you're being true to yourself, and still you want to understand what Gita is saying. That's why you wait eagerly for this class every 2 weeks, and you listen and you try to understand. That's not being forced upon you.
Hmm.
That you're coming to it because you're finding something here, and that's fine. That's all you need to do.
Hmm. Yep. Got it.
Be ethical, work hard,
Hmm.
and do whatever you think is right. What is your duty? So in chapter 3 now, it talks about other concepts that I have to explain to you so that you have the full picture, is the concept of swadharma. So this is another important concept for a karma yogi. Like swadharma means swa means my own,
Hmm.
and dharma means what I should be doing. So swadharma means my dharma, like what am I supposed to do? And Bhagwan Krishna says that it is better to follow again, it's all exaggeration, right? To drive his point home. So he says it's better to follow your dharma and die rather than follow the dharma of somebody else. So he's just trying to emphasize that you need to understand your swadharma and do your swadharma. That is part of the vision of being a karma yogi. So Swadharma means what you are here to do in this life. What you see as your duty, as your job, as, to do what's in front of you. What needs to be done? When you look in front of you, what needs to be done? What do you see needs to be done here?
Mhm.
And the thing is, I found at least, I could have, for a lot of my life, I've been blind to what's in front of me. Like, and when I was young, what was in front of me was I had children, they needed support. But my desire was I wanted to do well in my consulting job. So I was traveling all over the place.
Mhm.
It's not that I made a conscious choice. It's that I didn't even see, I couldn't see what's in front of me. I couldn't see what needs to be done. That's what desire does to you. If you're objective and your mind is clear, your mind is level, you can see the situation and assess what is it that I want that this situation needs from me. Where are the gaps that I need to go in and fill? Like, this is missing here. This person needs help. This person needs support. This action needs to be done. I if your mind is clean and clear,
Nitu, I don't agree with that.
you don't.
You said you said when you were that young and your children needed you, but your children also needed food on the table, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
So
was
if you're if you're not being subjective, then you would sit at home and just be there for them.
no, no, no.
But
That's not what I meant. What I
yeah.
meant to say was I wasn't trying to say that I did the wrong thing. I said it. I didn't see this. In other words, I could have seen it. I could
Mhm,
have understood and still done the same thing. And maybe that example is not a good one because in general, I've been a good father. So maybe it's a bad example.
mhm,
But the point is, if I see it, I see that there are two things to be done. This family needs help here.
mhm,
My job needs to be done. I
mhm.
see both the things.
Yeah.
And then I evaluate and see what do I do? I may
Mhm.
decide job is very important,
Yeah.
right? I'm the only person earning. But my family needs it, right? I can talk to my wife. I can talk to my kids. We can decide. We can all be on the same page. I'll do my job. Not saying that there's anything. I'm not saying that. I'm
Mhm.
saying Swadharma. I was just trying to make a point that when you have when you're not clear thinking, this your Swadharma is not clear anymore.
The
Yeah.
choice doesn't
You,
show up.
yeah, it doesn't show up.
Mhm,
The cost doesn't show up.
Yeah.
mhm.
The like I didn't even make a choice. I didn't even think I had a choice. I thought this is all I had to do. Right? That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
You have to be level-headed for you to be able to assess what's
Totally.
in front of you.
Yeah.
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 Just because you're in a situation and you got eyes and ears doesn't mean you're perceiving everything in a balanced way,
Yeah. Mhm.
right? And you can see that all the time. Different people in the same situation see different things. They perceive different things and they react to them differently. And a wise person, a good leader, a good person, a good family person is able to actually see what is happening and then do what needs to be done.
Yeah.
So that is not a minor thing. It's a very big thing.
Mhm.
And so first of all is to understand what needs to be done. That is the first part of Swadharma. And the second part of Swadharma is to do what needs to be done. And there too, another example Swamiji gave in his book. He said that, um, you know, I may be a janitor in an organization, and I just want to be a CEO. Actually, the example he gave was he said he gave an older timer kind of example. He said you're a farmer and there's a queen in the palace, and you fall in love with the queen, and you don't like to do farming anymore. You just want that queen. So he said you forget that desire blinds you. All you want is that queen. So he said it's one thing to have that desire. There's nothing you can do about it. The desire comes, it comes. But another thing to act on it or not.
Mhm.
So you may have you have the queen you want. So he said if you act on it and say, I'm going to run after the queen, you're going to get beaten up. The bodyguards of the queen are going to beat you up. There is no way that you can, marry the queen.
Mhm.
But if you let it pass and do your job, that's the sensible thing to do. And another example, which is probably hits it more, is like maybe I'm a janitor in an organization, but I want to be the CEO. Now, I will not enjoy my job as a janitor if all I'm thinking about is, oh, I want to be CEO, CEO, CEO. I'll say, what nonsense, this job is useless.
Mhm.
So, and I just want that. And then I'll get that, I won't enjoy that, I want the next one. So the what Gita is trying to say here, Krishna Bhagavan is saying through Sudharma is every every little bit of work, everything that you're doing has its place in the ecology.
Mhm.
This chapter 3, the middle portion of it is all about ecology and place in the ecology. So we're not going through the actual verses. We can next time, but it's like, a lot of them. But the idea there is that there is an order to this world, and the order is what, Ishwar has created, or you can call that order Ishwar. You have to understand the order, appreciate the order, and find your place in the order. And every place is important. So if you're a janitor, you do your path to your salvation is by doing your job as a janitor well. That is your path to salvation. By saying, I am doing this not necessarily just to make money for myself. I'm doing this because I want people's experience in the restrooms to be the best possible. I want the restrooms to be clean. I want to serve people. I
Mhm.
want them to, have a good experience when they use the restroom, whatever it is, right? Because that work also contributes. Without that, the organization will stop running if the restrooms are not properly taken care of. So that is your Swadharma at the moment. That's the job that needs to be done. Do it to the best of your ability. Now, of course, you can also have your desires, and that's fine. That's got its place. You have your ambitions, all that is there. But don't neglect your Swadharma. So I don't know whether this is clear, but I mean, that's kind of the idea here. And you'll see that a person who is generally knowledgeable, who generally knows that my happiness is not necessarily dependent on CEO position, will do his Swadharma properly. That janitor will do his job much better than a janitor who has one eye on the CEO position or the next position or whatever it is, and he's just doing this job to kind of, not get fired right now or whatever it is. So that's again a part of the whole scheme of things of Karam Yogi, which is Swadharma. And then I told you about ecology. Ecology is Gita again, you'll read about this a lot. It's big on ecology. And it says how one of the shlokas says how the rains produce food, the food produces human beings, the human beings do yagna to get the rains. It's like a cycle. So it's basically saying that the world, this whole cosmic, there's a cosmic cycle, and you, as an individual, are part of that cosmic cycle. Appreciate that cosmic cycle in everything you do. So,
Mhm.
like I said, this particular now we are reaching a part of Gita in chapter 3 of Karma Yoga, which sometimes can be. When I was reading through it and understanding it also, I also realized this is good knowledge, but I'm not sure I can apply this completely in my life. And maybe, others also can't apply it fully. But I'm just sharing what it's saying. You
Mhm.
have to see what of it really makes sense to you at this point and what you want to apply. Oh, huh?
Hello?
Then I just wrote down some things. So it also says uh, here, Krishna Bhagwan and Swami Dayanand, to me, they are interchange. Okay, they can replace one from the other. They talk about sensitivity, and they say that just like I was explaining, how you can be sensitive to the environment around you till you have some control over yourself. They also talk about sensitivity of Ishwar. They say the reason why we all know, we all know, if I ask you that the world works in an order, there is Ishwar. We all know that. Right now you talk, but once we get out of here, we won't remember it every day.
Mm.
We won't be aware of it from moment to moment. And that's because we don't have sensitivity. We are not we are not really experiencing every experience truly. We are not like, if I look at a flower, I'm not at that moment fully experiencing it. My mind is somewhere else. And the flower, which is a beautiful thing, has just gone by. For that, you need sensitivity so that you can truly experience. And he says the way to grow that sensitivity is through an appreciation of Ishwar. So, for example, Gita says, when you're eating, before you put your first mouthful in your mouth, appreciate God. Okay, now I've never done it, and I'm not sure this is, but the reason he gives is because you're forcing yourself to be sensitive, to remember, because in the beginning you'll have to force yourself. I mean, I think about, Sarla Masi and Mummy and all of them. They used to be very sensitive to this idea of Ishwar. Like everything they notice and they say, "Oh, thank you, Ishwar." Okay, that may not be a quite as meaningless an exercise as I used to think. So, so that's another thing he points out, and that's why a lot of these things, the rituals and the bhakti and all that, is in order to grow our sensitivity. That's the purpose of all of these exercises, so that we are aware of what we are aware of we are aware at little levels every day, more often,
Mhm.
and it's part of his concept of Karma Yogi. Take it or leave it, right?
No, it's a beautiful thing to do. This sensitivity, highlighting the sensitivity piece is very critical. There are a lot of critical things we are learning through you, but how do you keep them all in front of you is the challenge, I think. But
Right.
it's sensitivity I mean, enjoying the little beautiful things in life it provides major satisfaction to a human being. But we don't do it because we get so messed up in the moment to moment that we are, like you said, it's seeing things in front of us, not seeing them.
We are not seeing them because we are so. I mean, I am the most guilty of it myself because I have my own idea. I'm thinking, like, I'm going for a walk. During that time is when I think about the next class of the Gita. So what am
Mm,
I going to say? So
yeah,
Kavita is walking and note with me and noticing all the flowers and everything. She's even talking to me. I'm not even listening to her.
that's
I'm thinking about like what am I going to say in my next class of the Gita. Now, luckily, it's a good thing I'm thinking about. I'm not thinking about something bad.
nasty.
But
Yeah.
but but that I'm not like, it's just a habit. So if I have to break that habit, then I have to do some rituals, is what Gita is saying.
Mhm.
One of the rituals is before you eat a meal, thank God or pray. It's just a way
Be
to,
present. We
huh?
listen to what Kavita is saying. Be in.
Listen to what but that is my end goal. So anyway, so that was one. Then he also says, he goes even deeper than that. He says, if you do not pray to the devtas, if you don't appreciate the devtas in everything that you're getting, everything you're doing, then you're a thief. Okay, the language he uses, So he says you're a thief. Why you're a thief? Because you're a thief because you're taking everything which this world is giving you, these devtas are giving you, and you are not appreciating them. You're just grabbing them. You're a
Yeah.
thief. So you
Yeah.
think you just own it, you deserve it. It's yours. It's not, you have to kind of appreciate it back.
Yeah.
Then this is so the cosmic wheel. I told you about the cosmic wheel and the ecology. So dharma, I just told you. Uh, yeah, yeah, and again, all this is essential for moksha. It's essential for our inner peace. This sort of working, this sort of uh, appreciation of work, doing it with the right attitude is essential for inner peace. That's what Gita says. And Bhagwan, I mean, actually, what Dayanand Saraswati Swamiji says is, he says very clearly in like two lines, he said, there are two kinds of work. One kind of work is you're doing that work without appreciation of Ishwar. You may be very ethical, everything, all that, very good, great. You're very hardworking. It's not Karam Yoga. Another kind of work is you're doing that work with a complete appreciation of Ishwar at every point. That is Karam Yoga. He has put it in a very he's kind of made it even black and white.
Mm.
He's gone that far. Let's put it this way. But of course, Ishwar doesn't mean some remote Bhagwanji. It means your appreciation of the order in which things are happening and your place in the order, your sensitivity to the order, all of that thing. Okay. So I mean, this I don't know how much of this we can implement tomorrow or today, but I think it's good to know anyway.
Part of gratitude too, right? I mean, that's in front of us. We don't appreciate many things.
I think knowing, not taking, understanding that everything which is us is given.
Yeah.
That's it's given to us. It's given to us by this world, by this order. Our food, our bodies, our food, our children, our everything. Nothing can be said or taken for granted that, this is it. They're all given, they're all joys. And if you understand that and you appreciate them every time, whatever is given to you, then your actions, you'll still work very hard, but because of your attitude and everything, your actions and your mindset will be very different.
So some people get it and some people don't get it is because of their karma.
Some people get it or not, meaning
I
some
mean,
people get,
some people have it, they got the better results, and other people don't have the better results, and it's a function of the in this life. So it's a
yeah,
function of the karma.
right. So on that, it just says that it's a combination of your karam and the choices you make. Because in Vedanta, we can't have a fatalistic attitude. We can't say कि
Tap to
मेरा कर्म था इसलिए ऐसे हुआ है. Otherwise, there is no, if that was the case, then Gita will have no place. Because what's the point of learning Gita? वो तो जो होगा वो होगा,
Yeah.
right? Shastra will have no place. Vedant will have no place. So they say that for a human birth, in a human birth, you have a choice. As an animal, you don't. Because the birth of an animal is merely to extinguish karmas. So you have feelings as an animal, but you are going by instinct. You don't have the capacity, the buddhi to make choices. So like they say, right, if a spider bites you, it's not an evil spider. That's just what it does. It's programmed to bite you. But if you bite another person, you're not programmed to only bite. You have been given the faculty of intellect to make a choice. And when I was saying now that's why they say that a person who chooses not to go to this path is a miser. Again, this is Bhagwan Krishna's language, just hyperbole. He's saying that you're a miser because you have the choice. You have the choice to work today for just your profit, or to work or to be a Karam yogi. If you choose the lesser one, that means you're not really capitalizing on everything that you have. That's why you're a miser. That's what it's saying.
But even the choices that we make are governed by the intellect we have. So, like you and I, when confronted with the same situation, may choose to act differently. Maybe you will make some choices that are better for Antakarna Shuddhi, objectively speaking. And I will make choices that are governed perhaps by, things I either don't understand or I understand, but I'm only able to do so much or something like that. So even those, I mean, like finally, it just seems like even the choices that we make are just, it's governed because your intellect and mine is different. We're both
No,
human.
no, it's not. I was saying it's not one or the other. It's both. So you obviously, Obviously, per the law of karma, you are going to suffer or enjoy the results of whatever past actions are there. There's no question about that.
Yeah.
But as a human being, you also have a choice. Like, and the example for that was if you fall in love with the queen, as a farmer, and you're miserable because of that, you didn't have a choice in that. You cannot choose it. It just happens. But whether you act on it and go into the palace and get beaten up, or say, okay, let me know how can I deal with this situation. I have a problem. What should I do? Not follow up on your impulses necessarily and do what is your buddhi tells you is the right. That is also a choice.
But is it? That's my point. Like, does a stupid person have a choice to not be stupid?
Maybe not. Maybe the choice to not be stupid is very little compared to somebody like you who's very intelligent, who has a vast arena, meaning the space to do action is vaster for you. But there is. Because otherwise, how can you grow? Let's say you are what you are. How would you become a better human being? Let's say you feel that some things that you do which don't have antakarna, not good for your antakarna shuddhi, you have the capability to see that, to understand it, to identify it, and now you have the capability to do something about it, and you will. How would that be possible if you only start thinking about the law of karma and saying this is defined by the karma?
Yeah, I mean, but I had the same question even for Swadharma. For me to know what is my duty or what is my dharma, to be able to clearly see what is in front of me and then objectively make the right choice that is good for my antakarna shuddhi.
Right.
I have limited capability and buddhi
Yeah,
even to
of
do that.
course. All of us have, Kiki. Even I have, Meeta has, Tony has, Rupa, Billu. Everybody has limited capability. We are not gods. We all have very limited capability. What we are trying to do is, through this process, is to develop it bit by bit. Now you know this, and it's consistent with your life experience. Now, next time this happens, you will see things a little bit differently. You may even act a little bit differently. How much differently and how much all that, that depends on a lot of things that have been given to you.
Yeah,
Right? So yes, it's true. There could be some people who have been given with some immense clarity of vision and brain. So they would learn like this.
yeah.
They say that Swami Ramana Maharshi, he spent 5 minutes listening to this and he was done. He said, I don't need Vedanta anymore. Whatever. That's a different thing.
That's a different thing, but I'm talking even amongst, let's say, us. We
Yeah.
all might be exposed to the same thing, and you and I might act
Differently in
differently.
different situations, and that's fine. I mean, I will act according to what's been given to me, my faculties, the best of my knowledge. That's why I was saying this is my own kind of takeaway from learning this over many years. My takeaway is that the most important thing is integrity. In other words, whatever you think is right, as long and you have to genuinely think it is the right thing to do. Whatever you think is right, do it because that is the way to progress. And
Yeah,
whatever you think is right will depend on number of factors. It'll depend on what brain has been given to you, what body has been given to you, what circumstances have been given to you, all of that.
yeah,
But if you have to progress from there, you have to get feedback. This is how I'm thinking. Like, I remember consciously doing this when when I wanted to become a partner in my consulting firm. I remember thinking about it. I said, no, I need feedback. I'm just thinking I want to be a partner. Maybe I'm not ready. How would I know? So I then went out and told people. I said I want to be a partner. देखा जाएगा. And some people will laugh at me. Then I will know that my thinking is wrong. Some people won't laugh at me and they may say, okay, there is something better. This is where to get there. This is how you can do it, right? So if you don't do what is true to you, then you will never learn because you won't get the feedback. You wouldn't know how to improve your thinking because all you're doing is just thinking within yourself. There is a thought process going on within yourself which is not showing up in the world. The feedback and the impressions you're getting from the people are about your actions. But what's going on inside you is not showing up. Whereas if what's going on inside you shows up, then people will help you. One way or the other, you will get input. Then you grow. This this thing is what's called arjavam in Gita. It's called being straightforward,
Yeah.
being aligned between your actions and your mind. There should be alignment.
And even the ability to say, okay, I know that this is the right thing to do, but because of my fears or anxieties, I am not doing it. Maybe I even know it.
Yes, yes, that's good.
Even that may not always happen also, right? So that is also a growth process where,
Absolutely, because I for most of my life I didn't even know that I was anxious, and my anxiety was coming in my way when I was anxious, right? I just I was blind in many ways to a lot of situations because because of my fear to confront my own weaknesses. That's nothing but a negative form of desire. A desire is something that you want, and aversion is the opposite of desire, but aversion is also desire. Aversion is a desire for the opposite
yeah, yeah.
of what is in front of you.
Yeah.
So, that's all there. So this is all you learn just bit by bit, and you grow. That's why he's Bhagwan Krishna again and again says Swadharma. Don't be bothered about how good the other person is. That person has more brains so he can grow faster. Nothing to do with you. Do your thing. Whatever is in front of you, given your situation and given your circumstances, whatever is seeming right to you, do that. That is your Swadharma. In fact, actually, this is exactly what he means when he said that don't do the other person's Swadharma. He says if you keep thinking about the other person, oh, and I wish I was like that. I wish I was like that. That and then not do what you need to do, and thereby you may survive. That is worse than doing what you think is right and dying because of it. Meaning you made such a big mistake that you're dead. Even that is better than not following your Sudharma. Actually, as I'm talking to you guys, to my own understanding of this shlok is becoming clearer because I don't think I truly understood it when I first read it. Chalo. So that is the Gita. It's
Sure.
beautiful.